This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Start your engines.
Race fans, you are tuning into the only motorsports show in San Diego. Your host, Dave Stahl, and the racing school teacher, Britney Sandoval, are taking you to the green flag, covering everything from your top-notch national drivers and crew chiefs right down to your local kid racers and racetracks. Strap in. It's Checkers and Wreckers on Racer Radio.
All right, folks, welcome to Racer Radio. FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
Yeah, you had a challenge this at the Lifestyle Garage. We had a little girl, 11.
Oh, was she good at the intro?
No.
No.
She
tried.
nervous.
She got better.
Nervous.
Oh, she
started off as a mouth. What was a couple things she said? She didn't say.
She said the question, and then I was like, the other one, the answer.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. She was an artist. A little 11-year-old
that drawing was really amazing.
I know.
Honestly.
I was very impressed.
I could have sworn she just put the paper on top of a sketch.
Oh,
I
and
know.
traced it.
No, she literally, that was straight up her.
Very talented. Anyway, we are talking Racer Radio, brought to you by Stress Free Auto Care. My wife went there, and boy, oh boy, was she impressed.
What vehicle was she in?
Her little Prius. She waited for it. They greeted her, and she, you could do all your everything online. I must have got 4 texts saying how it was going.
Oh.
Got in, got out. So if you're looking for 7 day a week, they'll take care of you. They used to be Express Auto. They took over the facility, knocked out some walls, repainted it. It's beautiful. 888-887-1213. Go to stressauto.com. And Dragonfly Auto Care. Right there in Pacific Beach, 4055 Pacific Coast Highway, 619-704-2280. Go to dragonflyauto.com. Napa Auto Care AC certified, AAA approved. So we've been both talking to Michael Lewis.
Yes.
And Road to Recovery, which we've had quite a few people in, which is a organization that helps motocross riders that have been injured recover and just kind of make it down the path to a healthy life again.
Are you done? Yeah, we're going to keep reminding our listeners about a couple events coming up. Jackie Marin was in, Nikki Hayden's fiance. She was in a couple weeks ago. And she wants to keep his name alive. And she had partnered with Road to Recovery. And as you mentioned, it's a non-profit foundation. And it supports sports athletes who are facing, unfortunately, life-changing injuries. But the foundation, it does things like helping to pay hospital bills. It can provide financial assistance. It can connect athletes and their families with resources to aid in their recovering. And listeners, people out there, you can help in multiple ways. You could just go to their www.road2recovery.com or some of the events that are coming up. And we actually have some people coming in on May 11th to talk about 2 of the upcoming. One is a golf tournament, and then in early June is the Nikki Hayden Ride Day and Festival. So we're going to keep reminding you about it. It's an amazing foundation. And they have a lot of fun events, but you can also just give them money or time.
And that golf tournament's actually here in San Diego, too. It's Temecula, technically, but it's local. So
very local.
Yeah, because the other one's in Murrieta, which is a little bit of a farther travel. Murrieta.
But it's at the Blackmore Ranch, so you'll want to spend a couple hours, so it'll be worth the drive.
It's true.
Yeah. So we're going to keep reminding our listeners about that.
So we've had a rather interesting week or so.
Still smiling.
Yes.
I want to thank David Hunt for co-hosting with you.
Job.
He sat in, and Brandon, you said he did well.
Excellent. Absolutely. I loved the stories. And again, that second hour was so informative for Barona racers. So if you're a Barona racer, listen into last week's show. I promise you, I am begging you, listen to last week's show, the second hour. It's
great.
after the 48-minute mark. I know. It's like, wait, don't you mean the second? Yeah. Technically, our shows are 48 minutes because the commercials, I get rid of them. Yeah. So listen after that because it's going to be the most informative.
Is this because Eric Evans was in the new track director and they get offered like nuts and bolts?
Yep, absolute everything. So I would highly, highly, highly suggest listening to it.
I'm sorry I didn't listen because I was coming down off a high. A natural high.
What high were you on?
A natural high.
Which one?
Well, I know, right? I've had a couple experiences this last week.
This was the Britney Sandoval week I have ever heard.
I know. It's a pretty good one. Well, I want to speak to the NASCAR Racing Experience, and there's kind of two parts to it. There's the track time that I loved, and then the people. So I don't know, maybe I just talk in chronological order of it. Actually, which started a few weeks ago when we had a caller, Robert and Joey Starett. They called in thanks to my buddy Hendo, who had been in the ride along with Robert. So Robert is one of the drivers for the NASCAR Racing Experience, and he's behind the wheel, and he called in, and during the interview, he's like, well, you should come out, Britney. And it's like, you don't have to ask me twice. And I love that he followed up that interview like the next day with actual dates. So it was very tangible for me.
Right. So it wasn't just radio hype.
Yeah. So Robert, he was amazing at making things happen. He was moving me along. And so it was funny because he offered dates for Vegas. So I got on my phone and it was I think it was $190 round trip Southwest. So I was like, I can do that.
Yeah, that's a piece of cake.
Yeah. So it's really easy. So listeners, if you have thought about this, or maybe as you hear me talk about it, you're like, maybe I'm interested. From San Diego to Vegas and back, it was $190 on a Saturday too. So it's not like I had to fly out on a Tuesday or whatever's the cheapest day.
So you didn't drive?
No, I was trying. I think I asked Steve 5 times if you want to make a road trip. And he's like, so now all of a sudden you want to go to Vegas? I'm always dragging my heels because I'm not a Vegas person. Well,
I bet last weekend, it was so unbelievably busy in Vegas because they had the race up in Vegas for IndyCar and GT racing. There was WrestleMania for WWE.
It was crazy.
It was insane for Las Vegas.
Well, I was still able to get tickets last second.
Good job.
So how did it go?
So we get to the track and there's the whole people that. Had
you been to Vegas before at the track?
No. One other time when the godfather of dwarf cars passed away, they had a memorial there, and it was literally the building that was 200 feet away. So I kind of had that little memory.
Little deja vu.
Yeah. But they rolled out the red carpet, they meaning Robert and Joey. They were amazing. And I was introduced to a lot of people. I'll get to that second half. But it didn't take long before Robert's like, hop in. Like they had a car ready for him. And so there's two things. You can either do a ride along or you can have track time. And I started with the ride along, and Joey strapped me in because they've worked there. They've worked every aspect of the NASCAR Racing Experience. And now I guess you'd say he's worked his way up to being a driver. And they got me in, and we did several laps. It was funny because we even passed 2 people. And this whole thing I got to share with my father. And I say that because then my father got in for the ride along. And
he got to go too?
Yes. And afterwards, he's like, sorry, Mark, we didn't get to pass people. Brittany and I passed 2 people. So it was fun. But the whole time, so I think we went around 170 miles per hour, which was amazing. And I just kept saying over and over, wow. My vocabulary was stunted last week because
for a school teacher.
Wow. And I know that there's asphalt and cement, but as a dirt track racer, just the amount of cement and asphalt in aspects of, I hate to say it, I see you got the race on right here, is just the crashes. anybody who likes NASCAR, anybody who watches it, you need to at least do a ride along to get a whole new appreciation for the speed. And I am sorry, but for the crashes, I cannot imagine crashing at those speeds and with all that. I can't. And it was funny, Robert said, oh, I love doing this because I love it when the people are like screaming or they're pretending to drive. And I thought, well, I was probably very uneventful for him because I just sat there.
And took it in.
Because speed calms me. I think I've said it before.
You've said it 100 times.
And then just to trust him, I trusted Robert. I've been a passenger with a guy, Kevin, who used to race Porsches. I've been on the back of the motorcycle with my dad. In all 3 cases, I was so relaxed because I just trust the person in charge and just felt the speed. And you can let your guard down when you trust somebody. And so I've thought afterwards, he probably didn't think I liked it, but I absolutely did because I was so calm, so calm. So then I get out, and honestly, in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's probably enough. Like, I experienced that, and I loved it.
Well, that's really what you wanted to do.
And, well, I was telling myself that was enough because I was actually nervous about getting behind the wheel. And I don't get nervous very easily.
Hold on a second. Is Dirt Dude online?
No, there wasn't racing last night.
Well, somebody,
So.
okay.
Back before I knew the races were
Rained out.
canceled. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a quick break.
I'll tell you behind the wheel track time.
Oh,
after.
good. I was hoping we were going to get this in. Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
All right, folks, welcome back to Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
Segment is brought to you by El Cajon Ford, where absolutely nobody treats you better than El Cajon Ford. The race got rained out last night, but still, if you're looking for a new Ford, used, new, what doesn't make any difference, need to get a little service done, maybe you're a landscaper, you need a new truck, they can do it all with 5-star service. El Cajon Ford, where absolutely nobody treats you better.
Very quickly on that, my phone said 15% chance of rain that day. 15.
Well, I went to KUSI. I talked to the weather lady. 50%.
I saw 80% at 1. They made the right call.
I'm just saying, my phone. I'm done with my phone now. Again, I don't know how many times I've said this.
Don't even start. I hate my phone.
And when I saw Paris, I was like, okay, it's official. We're just gonna have a rainy day in general. So.
We did.
We got a long season ahead of us.
Yeah, we did. So we're at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yes.
With the NASCAR driving experience.
I think it's Racing Experience.
And I'm sure there's a web page.
It's so easy. You just Google NASCAR Racing Experience, and then I put in Las Vegas, or you can put in Phoenix, or you can put in Talladega, because they're there right now. Because there's a bunch of different. And when I
would you like to go to all of them?
Yes. 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 I want to do Vegas.
I want to do Bristol.
Getting me out of order. I'll just say out of order. I want to do Vegas again because I'm familiar with the track.
Well, now that you're more comfortable.
Which I would recommend the order. So I'm glad Robert had me ride along with him first because it got me familiar with the track, which the other thing when I got out, like, wow, that's asphalt, like a caveman. It's not an oval. I kept saying, it's not an oval. I've only been to one race and I didn't have an aerial. I didn't know. It's not an oval. So you come out at turn 4 and it kind of shoots off to the right. I think they were referred to it as like a dog leg or something. And it's how to get that 1.5 miles. But I'm so glad I knew that before going out behind the wheel. So I recommend that you do the ride along.
Well, they recommend it too.
And you do. So then, as I was saying, when we went into commercial break.
Did you have any classrooms? Did you have any classroom experience? Okay, because we want to talk about that.
For sure. So, as I said, when I got out, I had convinced myself, well, that's enough, only because I was nervous. But if you know me, which you do, I love being nervous because it doesn't happen easily, and I love to face a fear. Like, I love that.
If a challenge doesn't scare you, it's not a challenge.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people just stop. They go in reverse. They
and then
pivot.
They regret it.
Yeah. Well, or they don't know what they missed out on, which is my case. Like, I wouldn't have known what I missed out on if I didn't do it. So thank goodness Robert signed me up. I was like, I don't want to embarrass Robert. That would embarrass me.
And by the way, you had your dad with you.
Yeah, and my dad got to do all of this with me, which is probably my favorite thing is the shared experience with my father.
Yeah, I bet.
Cover your ears, Dad. Mom texted me the next day and said he wouldn't stop talking about it. So he had a good time.
Well, and that's, I'm so glad you took him.
Yeah.
Because I knew, he can get a little grumpy every once in a while.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying it. But I mean, this must have lit him up.
Yeah, it was so fun. So they put us in the 8 minutes. So you can do the ride along or you can do track time. So they got us all in our suits. I pointed over and I said, "Where's the kids section?" Fit me perfect. And then you go in and you watch a video. And the video is kind of the nuts and bolts, how to, do change. It's a 4-speed, change at 3,000 RPMs, get up to 4,000. And they talked about there's a spotter. And I wish I'd met my spotter. I loved the spotter. Anyway, there's going to be a spotter communicating.
So you had somebody in your helmet.
Somebody in your ear the whole time. And then they make it easy because there are lines out there and you just aim to get in between those two lines. They're periodically you find them. And then there's no speedometer, but you watch your tack and you get up.
Which is a real race car.
They're retired race cars. Right. And it was funny because they know which one was the smallest previous racer. So they're like, we got to throw Britney in that one. We'll throw Britney. That's the smallest one. And they don't move anything. They kind of maintain the setup of the car from when it was raced, which Robert gave me great advice before I went out. He said, trust the car. And I did. And Ray, the instructor for the track time, he said, you don't have to lift, which was awesome. You don't have to lift going into the turns.
You didn't?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. The car does its job. But you have to listen to the spotter. So they'll tell you, okay, go to 4,000 RPMs. And I think that was the one struggle I had was, and I figured it out now, what I should do was when I would look at the tack, I would lose sight of the lines. And when I want to just listen to the motor, I want to go faster. Like, I know this motor can go faster, but it's faster than what the spotter's allowing you to do. But if you hit your marks, and by the second lap, I'm hitting my mark, so he's all go to 42. So then I look down and get to 42, and I'm like, oh, where are those lines again? So that was the only struggle. But now I know as soon as I hit my mark, then I can look at my tack and I'll have time. But so I hit my mark again. So he's all go to 44. And I hit my mark again. And I'm sure they're supposed to be positive, but my spotter he always complimented me in my turn 3 and 4. I love the Tina. You don't have to lift. You don't have to lift. It's so rad. So he just kept saying, man, you're taking those turns. So you can go to 46 and, you got it. You can go to 48. And he let me go all the way to 5. Now there's a rev limiter. And I understand because the only qualification is you have to have a driver's license. So literally, like anyone can do this.
Right.
So they have to set a limit.
Sure.
And they're like, you can't be riding that ride limiter. So I'm like, so I hit the rev limiter. And so I slowed down. And then I'm like, I'm feeling comfortable.
But it must have excited you to hit that rev limiter.
Well, I was so comfortable. Like my dad and I both said, that was easier than we thought it would be. The whole driving behind was so much easier than we even thought it would be because trust the car.
Right.
So I did hit the rev limiter again. So I don't know when or where or why I thought we would be going like 80 miles per hour while we were out there behind the wheel. No.
149.
No. So yeah, we're all done. Oh God, it was so fun. I want to do it again. I have to do it again. Anywho, yeah, we all get done. And so then we all slowly, we return our suits and we start getting our certificates back. And this guy in my class, he's like, oh, I got 138. And it's like, cool. I'm like, 130? Wait, what? I didn't know we were going that fast. And then my certificate comes and Robert's like, oh man, you just missed the 150 mile per hour club. And I'm like, what are you, like in my head, I'm like, what's he talking about? I thought we were going to go like, he's all, you got 149.2. And I'm like, what? I wish I'd been closer
What'd
to that rev
your dad
limiter now. He got 144.
What?
Yeah, it took him a while to realize his was the smaller number. He was anyway. Yeah, and then the other guy wouldn't show us his certificate. So I'm pretty sure this girl got the fastest lap in the class, which makes I need to go back now.
Okay, but I need to ask a question. Because all you've ever raced on, basically, was dirt.
I've never raced on asphalt.
So What was the fear? Was there a fear between dirt and asphalt?
I think my only fear was embarrassing Robert, like just doing something wrong, just a technical, like you weren't supposed to pull in yet.
See what you're doing here?
Making you cry?
Yeah.
What are you crying about? Because I'm so excited?
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
That's why I wanted it to happen.
So the one I got was the 8-minute. And I guess if you do really well, so you can get like an 8-minute and a 16-minute and you can buy more time. So now I have to go back. Because if you do the 8-minute and you're doing well and you're hitting your marks, like I think I was, they'll pull in and then change out the chip so you can go faster. I must go back. So for anybody who just kind of wants to do this, I highly recommend get the ride along because then you get familiar with the track and then at least get the 16-minute so that you can get familiar with behind the wheel and then up the ante. I must go back. Now, I already have plans. So I reached out to the Hendersons, or soon to be Hendo, Mike Hendo and his fiance, and they had thrown around the idea of getting married in Vegas. They just threw it out there. I'm like, hey, if you're gonna go look at places, consider. And I sent them the dates of the Vegas Racing Experience. I sent him the dates. Well, she's all, well, you know what? We're already going to go see the race in Phoenix. So the whole crew that's in Vegas is going to be in Phoenix. They travel to Phoenix as well.
Sure.
So Hendo, Mike, and Karen and I know about this. We just haven't shared it with Steve yet. And he's not listening because he's golfing right now.
Okay.
So we're going to conspire because they're going to be there in November for the race.
And you're going to get married.
And they're going to go to the races, and then because the first thing I did was I text Hendo, who did the ride along, and I go, you have to get the track time. You have to do behind the wheel. So I'm thinking that we're going to both do behind the wheel that day. It's in November, I think. Oh, I have it somewhere. Yes, anyway, I don't want to forget about the people, though, if I may, before we run out of time. There's I could take the whole hour, obviously, but Robert and Joey, amazing VIP treatment. And what I really, really like is both of them were like, well, yeah, you're going to get behind the wheel too.
But you know what? I don't think they did it just for you. I think they do it for anybody that signs up. Because when I did my experience, it was exactly the same thing that you just said.
And I did want to bring that up. Like everyone... It seemed like really want to be there.
They treat everybody like a 5-star driver.
Yeah.
And they give you everything you could ever want to get the most out of what you're doing.
I think it's for the love of the sport, the love of the experience. And I agree because I was drawing a parallel in my head to skydiving. And so the 4 times I went, 3 of the 4 times were good. But there was one time where I'm like, I think everyone on this plane's hungover or they just don't want to be here. And it was kind of a bummer. But I didn't feel that. Like everybody, whether it was the guy fitting the helmets, and of course Robert and Joey, Ray, the instructor, he's awesome. He's like 74 years young, and he raced in the desert, dirt track, drag racing, and then he just started hanging out. He's like, I just kept hanging out at the NASCAR Racing Experience, and I kept asking him, can I drive? And so finally he was driving, doing the ride along, and now he was the instructor. So Ray was amazing. I met Jet, who's kind of their crew chief. And Nick is running a great crew. He's kind of in charge of all this. Nick was amazing because it was organized, it was clean, it was professional, everyone was happy. And then another driver, her name's Logan. She does the ride-alongs as well, and they introduced me to Logan, and she races the ARCA series. And she's in July, I think, going to get into a truck, and we're going to have her on Racer Radio June 15th.
All right, let's take a break. So
I have to stop talking about it?
I know.
Oh, thank you. Guys are amazing. Do it.
I know. We're going to do it right here on Racer Radio. FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
I don't know where Britney Brittany must have went.
She's getting our guest right now for the next hour.
Well, then
so
tell her to speed it up and quit talking.
So I just looked it up. So
tell
Cindric.
Tell her to bring them both in.
Hey, Brittany, go ahead and bring them both in.
Or all of them. All 57 of them. Tell Brittany to get her butt in here. I want to hear more about the racing experience.
Okay. Brittany, he wants to know more about the racing experience.
Jeez, Lobo. Bring your guests in, too.
We're a professional radio station, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, this is so professional.
Some other things I wanted to quickly say. So we're in the middle of like a big racing week for NASCAR because now it's going to be 28 straight weeks of racing starting this week. So that is insane.
Absolutely. Hey, we got a real racer coming in the house.
Oh yeah, we
now.
do. Yeah, we do.
Oh, looks like we got an up and coming one too. You can sit right over there. Brittany, you sit right there. And
Kelly and Andy.
oh, look, they're all pat. You sit right there. You sit right there.
I'll sit in the corner.
And go get in the corner, young lady.
All right, sorry, we're live right now.
All right.
Hi.
Yeah, we are.
So the only reason I brought you back is because you're not done.
Not quite done. I have so much to talk about.
So
fun.
But first off, did you explain to your guest what we're going to talk about?
Right now?
All right, Jason. She went and did a ride and drive in a NASCAR.
She mentioned that a little bit before we
mentioned
it.
In. I'm surprised your ears aren't bleeding.
Yeah, I'm.
So we had the guests on, so I hooked her up, and I says because they wanted me to go to it. I've done it, so I get it. But she had never done it. All she's ever done is dirt her whole life.
Playing dirt.
And I think
that's way more fun. Way more fun.
But aren't you kind of, that's why I asked her because she got up to almost 150 miles an hour.
149.2 or 0.02.
And she never lifted.
Wow.
You don't have to lift. That was the advice. The instructor said you don't have to lift, which was amazing. And trust the car. And that was great. That's all the advice I needed. Well, and then they have little markers out there.
But still.
Easy. But I did want to mention, as Scott mentioned last segment, I didn't know they were doing it in Vegas. And not only do they do it at most, if not all the tracks where they're racing NASCAR, they do it multiple weekends.
Right.
So I had thought, it's just the day following a race. Oh, no.
They'll rent a track if they get enough people to sign up. It's a great birthday gift. It's an anniversary gift. It's all of the above.
I asked some of the guys that were in line with me. I turned around before my ride along. I said, what brought you here? He said, it was my 65th birthday, and it was a bucket list.
Right.
The track time where you're behind the wheel, it was a father who brought his brother, so uncle. He brought his son, his son-in-law. There were up to 6 of them. Because I was like, whose idea? It was Dad's idea. Mm-hmm. So family. Another guy that was in my class who wouldn't show me his certificate, which means it must have been a slower speed. I said,
that was her dad.
No. This guy wouldn't show me a certificate.
Yeah, but you outran your dad. Tell the truth. She did.
It's a good feeling, Connor, to finally beat your dad.
How hard is that, right? That's hard to do.
But he was in Vegas for a conference, and he's like, I just slid over here. What a great idea! Which I wanted to say they hold corporate events,
right?
So if you're trying to
motivate
teach your people, face your fear, or let's stay on track, or whatever. Yeah. You can do corporate events.
Is that place on the right before you get to Vegas?
It's at the Vegas Motor Speedway where they race.
There's been so many companies that have tried to make this really.
That's up north side of town, then.
It's actually at the track itself.
Oh, okay.
It's
right on the
track.
Vegas track.
Oh, wow.
And they've had. It's been called Drive Tech. It's been called the Rusty Wallace driving experience. It's been the Richard Petty driving experience. Now it's the NASCAR Racing Experience.
So they just finished the race at Talladega.
So they'll
and
race
tomorrow they have it on that same track. Which, hey guys, fly out. I already looked. It was $390, but one way on Southwest or whatever I looked. And I can't take off tomorrow. But I was thinking the banking must be amazing. Yeah. What is it, 30+%?
At Talladega.
Yeah, at Talladega.
And this is a dirt racer who's never raced on asphalt.
Never done. I can't imagine. Wow. I can't imagine crashing with all that.
Oh yeah,
asphalt.
that scares the snot out of it.
It was just. I just kept saying,
"What?
Wow.
Crashing on dirt? Is
I know
less
dirt
painful?
is hard, but we can slide a little.
I like the sliding. I mean,
but have you ever raced on asphalt?
I have not.
Well, then don't say that.
You should try.
You have to at least.
It's so different than dirt.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell.
I'll have to try it.
I'm just gonna tell the truth. it's going 150 miles on the 405.
No, because you're turning.
Okay, so you're turning, but it's 150 miles on the. It's not dirt, because when you're doing that and you're turning, I mean, you are all, and your track changes constantly.
Yeah, that's the different. That is, and with 8 minutes out there, it's not like my tires
Yeah, it's
are
not
getting
like
changed.
yeah, right.
But the real, I don't know. I have a new appreciation.
And you hit the rev
watching.
limiter, so you're
I
in
hit
trouble.
the rev limiter twice. Yeah, the spotter's like, no,
Impressive.
no, you can't do that.
Well, then
I
don't
wanted
let me
to go
drive
faster. I forgot you got some goodies too
it. Oh, I did.
from Robert and
Oh, okay.
Joey.
I'll take a look at that in a little bit.
Yes. So it was amazing.
But I wanted you to come back. What's the website?
See, you're not supposed to ask me things because I have a terrible memory, but I just look it up. I just go NASCAR Racing Experience, and then I put in Las
.com.
Vegas.
Oh.
Or I just put in Phoenix when I wanted to see my next trip.
Yeah.
And I put in Talladega, but I also looked at, I
Well,
won't
I'm
be
really-
taking off tomorrow, but there are open spots. I talked to Robert today.
So I'm really looking forward to talking
go
with Jason, because he just came back.
He's the real deal.
No, dude.
Yeah.
How'd you do last week?
No, I thought.
Well, Connor raced last week.
Yeah.
We've raced 3 weekends in a row, so it's good to be home. It's good to be
Right.
in
Relax.
town for a little bit, relax.
Yeah.
This is
And
So now-
geez, now you're going to talk about motorsports for an hour.
I was really excited to come on the show.
We
'cause
love having you, by the way.
It's really a lifestyle. Our family. That's just
So
what we
this
do.
is the whole
We
gang?
race. This is
Yes.
the whole gang.
Oh, we have Crew and Andy and Jason, who you know, and Connor and Kelly.
And Kelly's not going to talk. What do you want to bet?
She might when the truth is a little, I don't know.
We can start ragging on her.
discolored. She'll be like, grab the mic. No, honey.
Or better yet,
This
hey,
is the
honey,
truth.
I'm going to buy another race car.
Oh.
Then she'll jump up out of that
Well,
chair.
maybe it's for her.
Oh, it's Stranger
Oh, she
Things.
did not say no.
No, they never say no. And so
I
anyway,
can help you with that, Kelly.
this one has been, I've been squirting her with cold water all afternoon.
I like going fast, as you probably do too. And you.
Now, do you get relaxed the faster you go?
The minute the green flag drops, it's yes, correct.
Everything's
I'm not.
gone.
Everything's gone.
Everything's
And
gone.
nothing matters, and it's not. It's a hard thing to explain. It's
Unless you're talking
just
to
in the
another
groove.
racer.
Yeah, I mean, you're just doing your thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Everything built up to the starting line and getting the green flag is yes.
Chaos.
It's chaos. You're
Why do
just-
I do this? Every time when I'm in
exactly.
staging for about 2 seconds, I go, why do I do this? And then it's like, oh, yeah, that's why.
That's what
Exactly.
I do. All right, let's take a quick break. You're listening to Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.